Okay, so welcome back. I hope you all enjoyed the previous talk. And this talk will obviously be how I broke MySQL. I wrote a book about it, as you can see on your screen. Now, this is a pretty clickbaity title, some might say. No, this is actually true. I actually broke MySQL and found books within it, and also wrote a book about this. So I will be signing the book tomorrow together with some other people. So if anyone wants a copy of the book, you can find me there. Before that happens, I should probably introduce myself. So who am I and why am I here and why you should listen to me? I obviously wrote the book that I just showed you. I wrote Hacking MySQL with a press. I wrote a lot of written content for a lot of various companies, several nines, Archetype, DB Visualizer. I'm also working with Redgate now. I spoke at various events, including Percona Live, DevCamp, those stuff, and a bunch of other things. And I also built a data breach search engine, which is in essence an application that collects data breaches inside of one place and lets people search through them to ensure that their identity is not stolen, so to say. Let's run everything from the beginning. So why you should listen to me? This book is split into three distinct parts, which is breaking, optimizing, and securing MySQL, which is not without a reason. So breaking MySQL has to do with the fact that I've found actually bugs in MySQL with the edits that I will tell you in a second. Optimizing has to do with the part that I optimized my data precission and query speed to milliseconds. I don't know the exact query speed, but it's under 0.1 seconds, which I'm very proud about. It had around 30-40 million searches, and it's still the same way. So that's great. And I also run a data breach search engine. I've been working with data breach data for around 11 and a bit years, so I have a background in security as well. So probably you are wondering, this is yet another book about MySQL, about databases. There's a bunch of books about databases already available. Why should I read this book? Why should I listen to it? Well, you're kind of right, because there's a lot of books about MySQL. There's obviously high performance MySQL. Some of you probably read it. And there's books about indexes, what specifics, so relational database and index design. That's a very pretty old book. It's, I think, from 20 years ago now. It's still around. You can read it. There's obviously books about database design and modeling, written by Alkin, which is also around here. I think he will be signing his book as well with me tomorrow. So if anyone wants a copy of his book, feel free as well. So one of the first comments that I had from people who actually got this book is actually a quote that you don't need to read books to break MySQL. This quote was derived from my friend obtained the book. He posted about the book on Facebook, and obviously everyone knows that on Facebook you can comment on stuff. So this was one of the first comments. Some guy said that you don't need to read books about breaking MySQL because it's probably already broken, which is, it has some truth in it, because obviously many developers are talking about their queries being slow, their application not completing, and so on and so on. So we came to this point somehow, right? So there's a bunch of questions you have to answer to understand how did we come to this point. To this point being that, developers saying that our databases are broken and we need to fix something. So we need to answer 3-4 different questions to know how did we come to this in the first place. These questions being what the developer is doing for their databases to break in the first place. So how are developers breaking the databases, so to say? Where did they mess up? What did they do wrong for them to get to this point? And obviously how to fix that, right? But everyone obviously has a use case, and my use case of MySQL, of MariaDB, might be wildly different from yours. And my use case is MariaDB and MySQL as a data breach search engine, which is available at breachdirectory.com, which basically does let you search through billions of data breach records to ensure that your identity is not stolen. And I've been working on this for around 11 and a half years now. So its concept is very, very, very overly simple. It has basically billions of rows of leaked data breaches, and it also has a search functionality. many other database search engines have other functionalities, such as like API searches and so on and so on. But the core functionality is the same, right? So the point for me that actually broke MySQL or broke MariaDB in the first place was full text search. Now, many of you are probably aware of full text search is. Many of you watching this content on YouTube are probably aware of what full text search is too. But for those who are not, it's basically a way of finding data with, let's say, fuzzy matching, right? So full text search allows you to search in a variety of different modes in MySQL. There is a natural language mode, there is a Boolean mode, there is I think a mode with query expansion, if I remember correctly, and so on and so on. And all of these modes search in a way that is not exactly natural to MySQL, that basically allows you to obtain different results. So for me, a use case back in the day was, as I was building the database search engine, was very simple. I had a table with, let's say, 2 columns, right? A use case was very simple. One column was usernames, so data without an @ sign, and another column was email addresses, so anything with an @ sign. So usernames was something like demo, right, as on the screen, and another column was email addresses, so something at something dot something, right? This is pretty much what an email is. So in essence, I was using MySQL 5.7.30 or 26 or something like that, if I remember correctly, 5.7 point something. And in essence, I was trying full text search queries to see how they work and why they work and so on. And the queries I tried was as follows. So two queries. One query that I tried for usernames, which is the first query. Select all from demo or match column, that's the username column against something. So that's the username. That completed in milliseconds. And the second one, as soon as I included an @ sign and maybe searched in Boolean mode, that was not necessary but could be applied, the database crashed, which is, I don't know why, but MySQL usually works like that. So I still don't exactly know why that happens. That happens within MySQL 5.7 point something. And this is actually a bug within MySQL. I've been discussing this with Charles Bell and Jonathan Getting back in 2021, which I remember Jonathan said that he thinks that MySQL may think that including an @ sign necessitates it to take maybe a different path for the query, and so it doesn't complete or something like that. But we actually never got to the bottom of this. But it's actually a bug. It has an ID assigned to it, and the only versions of MySQL that are affected by this is MySQL 5.7 and perhaps previous versions. If you are using newer versions of MySQL, this bug doesn't apply to you, so that's great. But that's obviously not the only thing you should.
Just a comment, the bug report is public and says that you can't see it. You can see it because you filed it, I guess, but nobody else can because it's so close.
I think
I just checked.
it should be
It's invisible because it's security bug, so you can't see it. So
okay.
it's not visible. It's not. I mean, whether it's fixed in newer versions of MySQL or not, we can't see because we don't know what the see the bug.
Just need to be a slide. That's what slide is saying.
Yeah, so it's a bug within MySQL 5.7, but newer versions aren't really affected. So if you're using newer versions, which all of you are probably because MySQL 5.7 is an old thing now, you should be fine. But it's obviously not the only thing they should be caring about, because when you have a lot of data, I have tens of billions of rows. One of the biggest databases that I have consists of 3.5 billion rows with duplicates already deducted. So that's not the only thing you should be caring about. So another thing you should be caring about is indexes. Now, everyone in this room probably knows how indexes work and what they are and stuff like that. But for those who are watching this on YouTube, this graph depicting covering and ordinary index speed will be maybe useful. So covering indexes actually enable the database to read the data from the index instead of reading it from the disk. And if you're using a covering index, your queries will be so much faster than using ordinary index as well. And obviously indexes can be combined with partitions, and it all helps our use case. So in my use case, there is this is a search page of the database search engine for anyone wondering. And this page alone has a lot of impact on the database, right? So you can see that there's, if I can, you can see that there is a bunch of records displayed. There's displayed how many data breaches are in the system, when it was updated, and so on and so on. And the search engine actually allows you to select emails, usernames, or whatever you're searching for. It enables you to insert a search query, select a search method, which can be regex or wildcard as well, and also register for data breach notifications if you want to. And once you search, it tells you whether your account is at risk of an entity theft or not. And obviously, all of these things having some impact on the database. Obviously, there is many people searching through it. So the problem it poses is basically that it has a lot of impact on the database, and a lot of people who have problems with databases, they actually search for solutions online. So solutions I found are put in the book in Hacking MySQL, which I'll be also covering a little bit in a second. And I also run a database channel called Database Dive. So if anyone's interested, I put a lot of database content there as well that I actually covered in the book. So you can also watch some YouTube content. But solutions, such as the database search engine, they lead to outcomes, some sort of results. So results as of now is around 30 million searches made on the database search engine within 2 years, because earlier I didn't track them, I wasn't so smart. But the basics actually come a long way. So normalization and indexing and partitioning have a lot to do with the query speed that you obviously experience if you use the search engine. You can index and partition your tables. Obviously, everyone in this room knows it, but many people actually that I talk to, they either index, either partition, which is, you can do both if you want to. There's a concept called Schrödinger's tables in MySQL as well. Some of you may be probably aware of it, but for those who are not, you can, in some corner use cases, you can come across tables that MySQL think exists, but that doesn't exist. So for example, if you issue a show table, the table exists there. If you want to drop it, it doesn't exist. MySQL says it doesn't exist. So that's use case as well that I talk about that in the book. So as far as the use cases of the database search engine goes, it's primarily used for open source intelligence. It helps prevent bomb threats, not once and not twice, which I'm very proud about. And it has a bunch of personal use cases. It's used in universities and by law enforcement and probably other people that I don't really know about because they don't really tell me. But these outcomes are, as I already told you, these outcomes are presented actually all in a book. The book obviously is not about the database search engine, but about how developers create MySQL to the point that they need to optimize it, how to actually optimize it for higher performance, and how to secure the database and keep the high performance that you just obtained. So if anyone would be interested in reviewing the book, I can provide you a free PDF, or if anyone wants a free physical book copy, I will have a couple of those tomorrow, within the book signing session in the evening. So if anyone's here who wants the book, so feel free to attend. But the book is obviously not without problems, not without mistakes. It has been reviewed by some former guys from Percona and some other people, and they told me that, for example, it has, since the book covers storage engines, it also covers MySQL, which probably shouldn't be covered in any book in 2024, which is... but obviously, I have to talk a little bit about that. So, but it doesn't significantly detract from the value of this book, according to reviewers. So that I'm very glad about. Obviously, if there are other mistakes, I will be glad to hear about them, and I will be glad to write the second edition if that's necessary as well. So I will see you at the book signing. If anyone wants a copy of the book, you can find me at the email address you can see on the screen right now. I also run a database search engine, so you can find me around there as well. And the book has a dedicated website to itself as well, which isn't very anything special. But if you want to observe the book contents or something like that, you can go there as well. So thank you. That was a very nice experience speaking there. And if you have any questions, I will take them now. So.